Hello, friends. How's it going? My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios in central Vermont, Warren, right near Warren Village, Warren Falls. Today, we are going to focus our 50 minutes on peeling back the onion. Now, maybe that's not the best analogy for some who might not like onions, or maybe they're allergic to onions, but the idea here is to start to consider all of the layers of our thinking, of our intentions, of the way the body moves. So we're going to use our traditional components to explore that, but mainly the orientation is first to consider what brought you to your mat today. Sit up nice and tall. Hands might be stacked in your lap or resting on your thighs or knees. Belly draws nice inwardly and upwardly. We're going to go ahead and squeeze the shoulders up toward the ears, round them forward, press the shoulder blades away from the muscle underneath them, and draw the shoulders down. Take that again, nice and tall, shoulders squeeze up. We're breathing in and in. And rounding them forward, we bring them down. Once more. It's time to go back. Reaching the shoulders behind us. Squeeze the shoulders upward. Send them away from you, backward. And release them down, breathe out. Shoulders up toward the ears. Behind you, open up the heart and let them go. One more time. And come back to whatever it is that brought you to your mat today. The momentum that brought you here, the incentive, the intention, the purpose. Pick a word. Come to that place of, why am I here? Bring Ujjayi breath into play as you consider that. A little constriction at the back of the throat that sounds somewhat like water washing, ocean water washing on the shore. Considering what brought you to your mat, your motivation. For me, it's twofold. It's for you, to help you work toward being the best you can be. But in this particular practice, because I practice with you, it is also for my own well-being. Drop your hands by your sides. Inhale, reach them out and then up overhead. Breathe in. Exhale, palms together, hands at your heart. Hands drop by your sides. Inhale, upward. And exhale, hands together at your heart. Once more, inhale, arms out and up. We stay there for a moment. Draw into cactus arms, breath out. Lift from the bottom of the pelvis all the way to the sternum, breastbone. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. Maybe bring a smile to your face. Drop your hands in your lap or on your thighs. Box breathing, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. We'll begin in 2, 3, 4, retain, 2, 3, 4, out through the nose, 3, 2, 1, hold it, 2, 3, 2, 1, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, retain, 2, 3, 4, last round. Big, huge breath in through the nose. Release it out the mouth. Natural breath. Now bring to mind what it was that brought you to your mat the last time you were at your mat. Maybe you can't remember, but just give it a moment of breath and concentration. Maybe it was the same thing that brought you to your mat today. Maybe your motivation was exactly the same or very similar, or maybe it was different. Can you recall? I know. They say live in the present moment. This is for a reason. Drop your hands by your sides. Inhale, arms up, coming straight out of your shoulders, side to side. Palms face down. Now we're going to rotate the shoulders and really feel the triceps and the movement of the shoulders. So the palms face up, then they face down and back. Draw that belly in. Loosen the knees and the calves. Palms up, palms down or back. And again, palms up, down and back. This time, palms up, arms reach overhead, hands press together there. And then we bend the elbows so the fingers come to the nape of the neck or between the shoulder blades. Press your head back into the sort of pillows that your lower arm makes. Interlace your fingers, press the palms to the back of the head. Thumbs can come down the sides of the neck if that feels all right. And open the elbows, lift the heart, draw the belly in. Breathe in. Exhale, tilt to the right. Feeling this opening all along the left side of the body, from the sitting bones up to the elbow, maybe to the pinky finger. Lift up and tilt the other direction. Lift up a twist to the right. This time you might not go very far. Spines might be a little tight. Just beginning to open up and lubricate all of the knuckles, all the vertebrae. Come front and center and a twist the other way. Come front and center, drop your hands back in your lap or on your thighs. And this time we're going to bring to mind what it is that motivates us in general to practice yoga. Something that inspires or encourages. For me, in my own practice, it is about being able to bring more kindness into the world. Enabling and empowering others to be kind to themselves by being kind to their body and their thoughts and their hearts. And enabling myself to go off the mat and be prepared for things that are hard off the mat. Now considering the notion of layers, of peeling back the onion, of parfait, lasagna, anything else that has layers. Consider the energy that you're feeling outside your body, noticing things like temperature, breeze, or movement of heat. And maybe just that little bit, that layer of that kosher of energy right outside our skin. I think I said kosher, it's kosher. And now take note, maybe a little inventory from the top of the head down to the toes of what the skin is experiencing. What does the skin feel like? Is it cool, cold, warm, burning, stretched, comfortable, moisturized, dry? We go inward once again, considering the blood coursing through the body, nourishing, cleansing. The purpose of the blood to help everything keep going. And what now of the muscle, the fascia, the ligaments, all of the things that help the body stay together, all the components stay together to help us stand up, sit down, move. Now the organs. All the piece parts that help us remain healthy. Sometimes they fail at that, allowing us to ingest sustenance, digest that sustenance, bring nourishment to all of the piece parts of the body that enable us to breathe and cleanse, that enable that necessary blood to pump. Release your hands by your sides. Inhale, lift them up nice and high. Or take a twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm behind. Look toward your right thumb. Spin your eyeballs in that direction. Inhale, front and center, lift the arms up and twist the other way. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart, returning to your motivation for today. Find your way into a child's pose, face down, knees wide, head is on something. It could be your hands, a block, or the mat. Working to be okay with whatever happens. This is the preparation for when things get difficult off the mat. Big breath in. Huge breath out. Draw into a tabletop shape. Cats and cows, hip circles, hula hoop motion, whatever helps the spine continue its warm up, whatever works for you. You might add a little rolling methodology in, a little side to side movement. One more round wherever you are. Walk your hands forward 2 or 3 inches, tuck your toes under, shift the hips high for your downward dog. First downward dog of the morning, at least in this practice, and maybe pedal in and out, start to feel the beauty of the posture, the direction of the energy, all is toward the sitting bones, up toward the sky. Rise up to the tiptoes, bend the knees a lot, press the chest toward the thighs, pause here. Slowly draw your heels toward the earth, a direction, not a destination. This time we rise to the tippy toes, bend the knees a lot, look past the hands, and walk our way to them for our first forward fold of the practice. If you like, you might find a ragdoll, maybe a sway. Nod your head, shake your head, loosen up. Loosen the toes, spread them wide on the mat, use the real estate, hands release. A halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, a forward fold. Slowly rise to standing. Exhale, hands to your heart, Samasthihi. Take a moment now to feel the outer energy of the earth. You're sort of lifting it upward, tugging it upward with the inner arches of your feet. And then letting it draw up the inseams to the hips, the shoulders, and the crown of the head. Hands release to the earth. Inhale, rise the arms up. Breathe out for your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step the left foot way to the back of the mat. Pause. Walk your hands sort of even or parallel with your heel, your front heel, and lift the belly energy away from the thigh. Slowly tap the back knee to the earth, and then extend that leg again. Tap the knee to the earth, extend that leg again. This time we're going to tap the knee to the earth, extend that back leg, and then extend the front leg to fold over it, peeling the ball of the foot off the mat. So you're just on the heel. Press the right foot back to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, hands to your heart. Bring your arms behind you at waist level. Maybe you can cup your elbows with each hand. I cannot. So you could grab your wrists or just interlace or stack your hands, but maybe getting as close to your elbows as possible. Maybe spread your feet a little wider. Draw the belly in, a little softness in your knees. And we're going to start by squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting from the top of the pelvis all the way to the breastbone, finding our back bend, lowering the shoulders from the ears, maybe drawing the head back, not required. In fact, none of it is required. It's your practice. It's not mine. Bring your chin parallel to the earth. And then a little look, a turn of the head over the right shoulder. Chin comes forward, a turn of the head over the left shoulder. Chin comes forward, right ear toward the right shoulder. And here we're okay if there's tightness. We breathe into it rather than internally yelling at our neck. Lift the chin parallel to the earth, left ear, left shoulder. Oddly, that one's harder for me. Lift the chin. We're going to keep our bind, bend the knee slightly, and find a forward fold over our legs. Release the hands to the earth. Sway left and right. Settle in the middle, halfway lift. A forward fold. This time the right leg moves to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Really set yourself up here. You're walking the hands or the fingertips to be parallel with your front heel. If you need blocks or something, grab them. I'm going to lengthen my stance here. Drop the back knee, tap it down. Lengthen that leg out again. Drop the back knee. Extend that right leg. Drop the back knee. Extend. And extend your front leg, folding over it, gently peeling the ball of the foot and the toes off the mat, reaching back with that right heel. Come forward, step forward into a wide-legged forward fold. Point your toes out. Bring your forearms to your inner thighs. You're welcome to interlace your fingers. So we're in this sort of football stance. You're going to drop your tailbone a little bit. Draw the shoulders toward your hips. And we're going to take cat-cows here. Find your way to a flat back. Bring your hands to the earth. Step back, direct to your down dog. Make your way back to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Rise to standing. Arms lift overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Step your left foot halfway back on your mat. Roll around on your feet. See if you can find your hips squaring up. You might need to widen your stance. Find all four corners of both feet. Bring your hands to your hips. Come halfway down. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. You're going to draw your hands down toward the earth. For some of us, that may be on top of your right foot or in front of your right calf or on blocks. We're going to rise halfway up. Step the left foot farther back on the mat, runner's lunge. And drop your left knee to the earth. Anjaneyasana. Untuck your back toes. Lift your shoulders over your hips so you're kneeling on that left knee. Hands by your sides in cactus shape or overhead, your choice. We're ensuring that the right kneecap is right above the right ankle. Press into that right heel. Press into the shoelace side of your left foot. Bring the hands together overhead. Interlace your fingers and then turn to the right, cupping your right hip with your palms. Drop your chin. Left hand down to the mat. Twist deeper. Right arm can float high, or maybe the hand comes to your low back. Right hand drops to the earth or block, and we find our half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. It's better if your hands are back, so you can lengthen your spine here, rather than having a rounded spine to bring your forehead toward your knee. You're kind of reaching your heart past your front foot. We move back to Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose from here, bringing the right foot down, tucking the left toes under, lifting the hips, and then hopping that back leg up enough so both feet are all the way on the ground. You might find yourself in a deeper fold here. Right hip is pulling back, front of the left hip is facing forward. Back foot steps up to meet the front. We find our way into Utkatasana, chair pose. You might have thought that wasn't going to happen today because we're peeling back the layers. Come back to your middle layer, which is what brought you to your mat last time you were at your mat. Rise up to stand, hands to your hips, Right foot comes back on the mat, preparing for Parsvottanasana. Square your hips up, roll around on all four corners of both of your feet. Your booty sticks back, your heart reaches forward halfway down. Feel the power of the shoulders drawing toward your hips. Draw all the way down. Noggin is loose. Now consider your intention in this posture. Is your intention to discover it, to uncover it, to explore it? Is your intention to get to your edge and check out the discomfort? Is your intention to find opening in the back of the left leg, in the hips? Rise halfway up. Step the right foot farther back on the mat, runner's lunge. Peeling the heart forward, reaching backward with the right foot. Drop the right knee to the earth, knee down lunge, Anjaneyasana. Just like you did on the other side, but maybe this side feels different, and that's okay. If your hands are not overhead, go ahead and bring them there. Interlace the fingers. Take a spin over toward the left, cup your hands around your left hip and drop your chin. Opening up the psoas on the front of the right hip. Squeezing the right glutes. We deepen the fold, or deepen the twist, right hand down, left hand can stay on your hip, come behind you, or reach overhead. Keep pressing all of that front foot to the earth, especially the big toe mound. Come forward for your half split. The farther back your hands are, the straighter your spine can be as you reach your heart past your toes, past the front of the mat, drawing the belly in and opening up the collarbones. Moving back to Parsvottanasana, front foot plants on the mat. Back toes tucked under to lift the hips. And we shorten our stance so that both feet are all the way on the ground and the hips are square forward. Step forward to your forward fold, rise to standing, arms reach, 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 reach. Exhale, hands to your heart, Utkatasana, chair pose. Drawing the booty back, belly in, a tiny back bend, the energy more in your heels than in the front of your feet. And come back to that inner kernel of purpose, of motivation. Why do you do yoga? Just for my sunny disposition? Hands come to your hips. Lift the right knee high. Step, whoop, and if you fall out, it's okay. Step way back on your mat and then spin to the long edge of your mat, toes in, heels out. Gonna take a little movement here, moving into one knee and then the other, letting the arms work like helicopters. helicopter blades, I guess. And then we pause. We lift the arms high. Bring the hands to the heart. Fold in half. Pause here. Adjust your stance if need be. Fold all the way down so the fingertips graze or rest on the earth. Drop your head. Walk your hands forward of your mat, just a couple of inches. And then lift onto your tippy toes. Press your chest toward your thighs. Bring your heels back down. Walk your hands under your shoulders, lift halfway up. We're going to spin to the back of the mat, drawing the right toes forward, coming to the ball of the left foot, and then stepping the left foot up to meet the right to find chair pose once again. We're going to move in a circle. We go around in circles. Hands to your heart. Actually, we're not going to go around in circles because I want to do both sides. So energy in your right foot, lift your left knee, woo, step way back, and return once again to the long edge of your mat. This time we're going to bring the heels in and the toes out. We're going to draw the knees toward the middle toes, sitting down. The palms come inside your thighs with the thumbs pointing toward your pelvis. And then we're going to take a little twist. We're going to move forward and down toward the left. Move up and down to the right. Up and down to the left, pressing into both thighs. Up and over to the right. Up and over to the left. And then sit into this wide seat and rise up. If you're anything like me, your thighs are burning a little bit here, but we're going to take it a little further. First, I'm going to remove a layer, speaking of koshas. Speaking of layers of onions, of peeling back and peeling off and discovering what's underneath. It's just a black t-shirt, but also a heart. There we go. Heels in, toes out. Temple pose, goddess, some people call it horse. We bend the knees once again toward the middle toes. Reach the arms high and draw them into a cactus shape. Temple pose, belly in, tailbone down, feet working. Make sure they're not leaning. Whoa, I just leaned too far back. Making sure the feet are not leaning forward. We're going to rise up, five-pointed star. If you like a power gesture, a power mudra, you can make fists and leave the thumbs out, almost like you're hitchhiking, but up over your head. Come back into your temple. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, temple. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, temple. Stay here. If you can, lift your heels off the mat. Sink a little deeper. Draw your tailbone down, belly in. Bring your heels down, stay low. Nice. Hands to your hips, rise up. Point your left toes forward. Come to the ball of your right foot. Draw your back knee, your right knee down to the mat. A lot of hip opening here. Heel toe, the left foot out to the edge of your mat. Point your toes out. We're going to do a twist once more. Pelvis moves forward rather than down. Left hand inside your left thigh. Press it away from you, but keep the foot all the way on the ground. And a twist over the left shoulder. Oh, that feels good. If you like a half bind, take that here. If you like a quad stretch, take it here. I'm going to move into a lizard if you like. Foot comes parallel to the outer edge of the mat. Foot peels open like a book, so you're on the outer edge of the foot. Maybe a cushion under your forearms, maybe your hands stay right under your shoulders, or maybe you walk the hands forward, bringing your forearms down to something. Hands plant underneath your shoulders. We come back to a tabletop shape and then sit down on our heels, rising up. Big breath in, super breath out. We're going to move into a back bend from here. So make sure you have a little space behind you on your mat. This back bend comes before our next lizard twist and lizard. So if you like, you can make fists of your hands, but you don't have to. And bring your hands to your the arches of your feet. If you need a little bit more to work with, you can bring your feet out a little bit. You can also take blocks behind you. But either way, the idea is hands onto something solid. Walk them back so you have a nice long front body. Tuck your tailbone forward so the back body starts to match the front body in its length. And you might just stay here with your tushy on your sitting bones and squeeze the shoulder blades together. If you have enough to work with, you could always lift the sitting bones away from the heels, drawing that tailbone up, and squeezing the shoulders together more to drop the head back. This also opens up your quads. We breathe here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come forward. Cats and cows from a tabletop shape. So the description of this class included significant heart and shoulder opening and hip opening. Those are all of the things we're taking. Sans some of the traditional warrior postures. Some of us love warriors. Sometimes we feel that classes have too many, or every class always has that darn warrior one or crescent warrior. You can find stretching, opening, strength, power, motivation, energy without doing warriors too. All right, now we're going to take the right foot, step it outside the right hand. Settle your stance, maybe bringing your left knee back. Point the right toes out to the right. Shift your pelvis forward, bring your right hand inside your right thigh, press it away, and find your twist. And if you took a half bind or a quad stretch on the other side, feel free to practice that here. If you press a little more energy into the shoelace side of your back foot, it takes some of the weight out of your knee. And ideally, you're actually not resting on the kneecap, you're just above the knee. Right hand down. Foot comes parallel to the earth. Open it up like a book onto the resting on the outside of the foot. Pelvis and hands maybe forward a little bit. Maybe the forearms come down to something. Here, we're going to take 6 breaths. Hands plant on the ground. Come into tabletop. Sit back on your heels once again. We're going to move into camel or asymmetrical camel. So half camel on one side, half on the other. Depends on what's in your practice. I don't do full camel due to my low back, but half camel works out great for me. So we come to kneeling. If you like, and if it's not that easy for your hands to reach your heels, you might tuck your toes under, which I am doing. We bring our hands to our heart. Press the tailbone forward, the hips forward an inch or so. Lift from the top of the pelvis all the way to the breastbone. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Let's take that one more time. Pelvis forward, strong, long torso, heart up, shoulder blades squeeze. Keep your left hand at your heart. Bring your right hand behind you toward your heel. See how that feels. Work to square your hips. And maybe you lift the left arm to find a little bit more of a back bend. The head drops back. Pelvis forward, protecting the low back. Here we breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left hand to your heart. Right hand to your heart, rise up. If you need to take a little break, you can sit back onto your heels and maybe do your kind of helicopter blades movement left and right. I'm going to take that to the other side before we move into our final back bend. So rise back up, hands to your heart, tailbone forward, long torso, shoulder blade squeeze, heart lifts. Again, tailbone, pelvis forward, long torso, heart lifts, shoulder blades squeeze. This time the left hand drops back to the heel. Maybe you stay here, working to square your hips and protect your low back, or the right arm floats high. Right hand to your heart, left hand to your heart. Stack the shoulders and hips. Sit back down. Maybe take a little child's pose for a breath or two. We have just a few minutes left in this practice, so we're going to work into our final back bend. Tabletop for inchworm, anahatasana, puppy dog, kitty cat. There are lots of names for it. Hips stay above the knees, hands walk forward until the forehead, chin, or chest is on the mat. If the shoulders are shouting at you, you might bend your elbows out left and right and let your thumbs and index fingers touch. Here's a great place to come back to the idea of layers, because this is a beautiful way to become a bit more vulnerable while being protected because the heart faces the earth. So maybe you consider the layers of your heart. Maybe there's a sort of colder, hard, like an M&M shell around the heart to protect you from being hurt. Maybe right underneath that is the heart of a little bit more softness, of openness. And maybe right at the center is the heart that is so open it is full of compassion. Not necessarily empathy, or maybe there's some empathy there, because empathy often means we absorb others' issues and problems and worries and sadness. Whereas compassion allows us to do so without hurting ourselves. A slight tuck of the tailbone, we walk our hands back. We're going to move to the mat. We have 5 minutes left, so we're going to come all the way down to the mat for our twist. Just finding your way gently and gracefully, or maybe not so gracefully. Back to the mat. Knees bent. we cross the right knee over the left knee. So not the ankle, the knee, like you were sitting with your legs crossed. And then we shift the bottom a little bit to the left. Drop the knees to the right. Arms can flop outward, and maybe if it feels okay, the gaze moves to the left. You can take any other twist if the body is saying this isn't the one for you today. And we work the left foot back to the mat, work the spine back to the mat, and then take the knee cross the other way, shift the hips over to the right, and the knees drop to the left. Gaze moves to the right. Turn the soles of the feet to the mat. The spine comes fully on the mat. Straighten it out as it would normally be. And then either a happy baby or gather your knees into your chest. You might take a little rock left and right in either position. Or if your knees are hugged into your chest, you might move into knee circles that will help massage out the low back as well. If you've done something asymmetrical, please be sure to do both sides. And then we're going to find our virtual legs up the wall with the palms on the mat underneath the low back and the legs softly extended to the sky. Loosen the shoulders, take a nice big breath in. Release. Find your way into your Shavasana shape. That could mean actual legs up the wall. It might be Supta Baddha Konasana for you, or maybe the traditional legs extended, body extended, arms extended, palms facing up. Settle in. Notice the layers of energy, layers of thought, layers of motivation, layers of the physical body. Maybe even layers of the air around you, warmest near your skin because the air and your body are sharing heat. Cooler as you move away from the skin into the air around you, and even cooler a foot or 2 feet or 3 feet away from you. And your choice now to move out of your Shavasana shape. You could roll onto one side and press yourself to a seat, or you could gather your knees in to find a rock forward and backward into your seat. The palms will draw together at your heart. The spine is nice and long. Come back to the motivation for this practice. And in the layer you will create as you move off your mat, consider what your intention will be when you walk off your mat. We'll celebrate the power of intention, of motivation, of nuances, of layers, and we'll celebrate and share the merit generated by this practice out to all those in need. We'll do so using a single chant of Om. You are welcome to chant or not, your choice. First, we'll breathe all the air out of our lungs. Then inhale for Om. Thumb knuckles connect with our third eye center, right at the center of your forehead. And may your motivation be positive. May your kindness be extended to yourself and others. Namaste. Hopefully you're feeling good. I'm feeling great. Wonderful to share practice with you, and may the remainder of your time today be wonderful and thoughtful and kind. Again, I'm Karen. If you have the funding, please feel free to donate on our website. And also, if you've never been here to blow glass, come on in. We're doing pumpkin making this Saturday, today, and next Sunday. Have a good one. Bye.